And once your mind takes up something, it's very easy for that to manifest in your life. So imagine if you began to tell your mind of all the good things, if you began to tell your mind of all the good scenarios, of all the good situations, imagine how good your life will turn out to be. And I remember when I say this about the mind being neutral, I remember when I was in high school. Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode on the Kindness Circle podcast. In this circle, we talk about all things good and kind, first to ourselves, then to others. And we also learn from each other. On the previous episode, I spoke about what motivates you and shared some of the things that motivates me as a person. And I was really hoping that you guys would also go on the comment section and mention things that also helps you keep on track and helps you stay focused. So I was really hoping that you guys would also comment on the things that motivates you and we can all learn from each other. So it's not too late. You can still go on YouTube or on Spotify and leave a comment about what is it that motivates you, helps you stay focused. On today's episode, I'd like us to talk about something that you have probably heard before, and that is everything starts with you. You cannot be kind and considerate of others if you are not kind to yourself first. Also, I just want to mention that YouTube tells me that 73% of you guys are watching my videos on YouTube, which is great. Thank you for tuning in. But it says that 73% of you are not subscribed. Guys, subscribing on YouTube is free of charge. They won't charge you for subscribing. So you literally just click subscribe to show support for the channel. So make sure that you are not left behind. On today's episode, which is Everything Starts With You. And I'll also like to add that everything starts in the mind. If you are a Christian, you would know of a scripture that says, be transformed by the renewing of your minds. So the way to show transformation is for you to renew or rewire your mind or change the way your mind operates. Then that's the way of transformation. And also, if you are not Christian, then you will also know of the force of gravity. I did commerce in school, guys, so I'm not really I'm not really into science like that, but I do know that the force of gravity says that if you throw the ball up in the air, that law says that it will come down on earth. It will fall down on the surface. If you throw a ball in the air, it will always come down on the surface or on the earth. And there is no other way it could happen. There is no other way. That is the only way. So even with the mind, it works like that. Like whatever that you fit your mind with, it is whatever that will come out of your life or whatever that you choose to give full attention to is exactly what you will see in your life. So what do I mean by saying that? By saying that the mind is neutral. The mind, it takes whatever that you tell it. It does not judge. So it will not predict or it will not go for something that you did not tell it. So the mind is neutral like that. Also, one of the things about the mind is that it cannot differentiate between reality and also imagination. So it completely relies on what you tell it. So I want you to imagine that if what would happen if you began to tell your mind of how capable you are. I want you to imagine of what will happen if you began to tell your mind how good you are, remembering that the mind is neutral, so it relies or it depends on whatever that you feed it. It depends on whatever that you tell it, and it runs with it, you know. So I want you to imagine what would happen if you told your mind about all the good things about you, all the good things that are happening in your life, instead of telling it about the negative things. Because if you feed your mind with negativity, it will take that, and once your mind takes up something, it's very easy for that to manifest in your life. So imagine if you began to tell your mind of all the good things, if you began to tell your mind of all the good scenarios, of all the good situations, you know, imagine how good your life will turn out to be, you know. And I remember when I say this about the mind being neutral, I remember when I was in high school. So I had just gotten to this new grade, and you know, new grade, it means that new teachers. And there was this one teacher who was very good in what she does. Like she was really good, you know. And the marks, you know, that we were getting as the learners, you know, they were proving that she was that good. But there was something about the teacher, is that she was speaking when she teaches, she was speaking like very slow and very soft. So most of us in class like feel sleepy due to that, right? And maybe during break or whenever when she's not there, and then we'll start to talk about it amongst ourselves that, yo, when we go to this particular class we sleep because the teacher speaks so slow, right? And I remember one day saying to myself, if I am going to continue with that attitude of how the teacher delivers the lesson, it's going to give me problems. And from that day, I decided that, you know what, I am going to put my attention on what the teacher is telling me about the schoolwork, instead of focusing on how she delivers the lesson. And that from that day, like my my mind changed like completely, because I began to tell my mind that we are not focusing on the teacher, on how she speaks, but we are focusing on what she is telling me so that I can be able to pass. And automatically, my mind was able to like somehow forget that, you know, I would feel asleep when it was time for that subject. Like my mind completely forgot about that, and I was now able to like focus fully without feeling asleep, you know. So why I'm saying this is just to show you about how neutral the mind is, you know. So if you tell your mind that you are that good, or if you tell your mind that you are that capable, or if you tell your mind that, you know, you can do it, you know, your mind takes that, and eventually you also begin to act according to what your mind tells you, you know. And also, what I'd like to mention is that the mind can't differentiate between the reality and imagination. Most times, when we talk about the things that we want to achieve, we talk about, let's say, maybe, you know, we all want to achieve different things, right? And reality will be saying, in order for you to achieve that, you need this network of people, or you need this connection, you know. And you will begin to even see that the people maybe that have achieved that level that you want to get to, it's people that probably seem to have the network, or people that probably seem to be well connected, you know. And then you begin to doubt that if you would pursue uh things, solely by hard work and maybe other methods as well, besides the connection and the networking, then you'll begin to doubt that you will ever make it. And the reality says connection and network, and imagination says hard work. Imagination says alignment. Imagination says purpose, So now you are stuck between reality and imagination. But what I'd like to tell you, or I'd like to make you aware of, is that the mind is not aware of reality, and it is also not aware of imagination. So imagine if you began to feed your mind with all those imaginations, because this how the mind works is like the law, like I explained before about the force of gravity, that if you throw a ball in the air, it is expected that it will fall down to the ground. So even with the mind, it works like that. Like if you feed it like this, the results that you are going to get in your life, they are based solely on the whatever that we have told your mind. When we hear people say it all begins with you, or it all starts with you, or the work begins internally, and I think most of us, we are never really exposed or explained to as to what is that internally. When they say the work begins internally, that internally, it solely refers to your mind, like whatever that you want to be, or whatever that you want to achieve, or whatever the vision that you have of you, of your life in your mind. That vision, if they say it starts with you, it simply means that it starts with you telling your mind as to this is the direction we are taking, and these are the results that we are going to get, So that's really what I really wanted to share with you guys today, that it all starts in the mind, and it all starts with you. So imagine what would happen if you began to fill your mind with all the positive things instead of the negative ones. Imagine how good your life will turn out. Imagine how positive your life will turn out. Even with myself, as I am sitting here, this is something that I am practicing, because there are things that I want to get to. There is a level of achievement that I want to get to. And I have realized that in order for me to get to that level, or in order for me to get to that state, it all starts in the mind. So if I can rewire my mind, to think, to not allow any negativity or telling me that this is the reality, or this is how it is, but instead believe in whatever that I believe it is possible, then it will come out like that in my life, So that's really all I wanted to share with you after that episode of what motivates you. To say, sometimes you might be motivated and you feel like, yes, I can do this, I can put in the work, I can work on myself, I can work on my life, I can work on things to work out, But somehow along the way, you might have put that effort, you might have put in that work, but you don't seem to be getting any results, So whenever you get to that state where you feel like you are not getting the results, remember that whatever that you'll be telling yourself at that state is exactly how things are going to turn out. So if you begin to tell your mind that, well, I've been working hard and things are not working out, well, things are not going to work out. But imagine if you say to yourself, I'll keep working and I'll keep putting in the effort, and eventually it will. Your mind will take that, and those things will begin to manifest in your life. People like to speak of manifestation a lot. So I think whatever that I'm trying to say is more similar even to the theory of manifestation, because when people speak of manifestation, it's literally you imagining the level of life that you want to get to, and then you starting to believe in your mind that whatever that I desire, it will come, and then you hold on to that thought until it happens. So, what I'm trying to explain is basically that, that if you begin to feed your mind with the positive things, if you begin to feed your mind with the good things, then eventually those things will come to pass. Because I find it very puzzling, and very like questionable as to why is it that as people we find it much more easier to believe on the negativity than we believe on the positive, and sometimes I'd like to believe that the reason maybe we keep experiencing all the negative things in our lives is because of we keep feeding our minds with those negative things, and they keep happening. So I just want us to imagine and to also start, feeding our minds with the positivity, and just wait to see as to what will happen. So if you have been in a situation whereby you fed your mind with positivity and you've had the results, what were the results? Please feel free to share that on the comment section. Till next time, guys.